Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting straight through to look at a very specific document. It's called the Convergence Point 2025 report.
Right, and our mission really is to unpack its central claim that there's a potential major global tipping point kind of lining up for September 30, 2025.
Yeah, and it does this by weaving together, well, quite a mix. Biblical verses, the apocalyptic Book of Enoch, and also the chronological work of Dr. Ernest L. Martin.
And that date, September 30, 2025, it's not just pulled out of thin air. That's critical.
No, definitely not.
It falls smack bang in the middle of the Yamim Norim, the days of awe. You know, that 10-day period of pretty intense reflection and judgment between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
That's the Hebrew calendar's most solemn time.
Exactly. So that's the temporal anchor. It ties into Martin's idea that these prophetic events aren't random. They align with God's appointed times, the modem.
Okay, and the report uses specific biblical themes as lenses, right? Like judgment from Genesis, cosmic signs from Joel.
Yes, Genesis 19, Joel 2, and importantly, the failure of human leadership, referencing 1 Samuel, King Saul's rejection. These frame the analysis.
So how does this framework apply to the hypothetical news events the report lays out for that specific date?
It starts big with what it calls the covenant trigger. Picture this, a major news headline, the acceptance of a 20-point Gaza peace plan.
A big deal, brokered by Trump, reportedly accepted by Netanyahu, involving Arab nations. A huge coalition.
That's the idea. And the report immediately flags Daniel 9.27. It says this kind of large-scale covenant involving Israel could be that prince confirming a covenant with many, potentially kicking off a final prophetic week.
Okay, the starting gun. But the report seems to immediately pour cold water on this peace deal, highlighting simultaneous violence and hardship. Why that contrast?
Well, that contrast is the point, according to the report. It's the paradox. You have this top-level peace announcement, but underneath reports of abductions, attacks, economic misery in the West Bank and Gaza.
So it's not real peace.
It's presented as fulfilling 1 Thessalonians 5.3, peace and safety, then boom, sudden destruction. The argument is the covenant must be deceptive for the prophecy to track. Political calm, but local suffering ramps up.
Okay, that's a disturbing picture. And leads us to the next piece. The U.S. While this is happening on the world stage, the report points inwards, stateside.
Right, a complete shift. It describes the U.S. potentially facing a severe government shutdown, political gridlock at its peak.
And not just political paralysis, but violence, too. It mentions ideological violence, like a terrible mass shooting at a church in Michigan, and even military deployment, National Guard in Portland.
Yeah, it's painting a picture of, internal fragmentation, a superpower kind of unraveling from the inside.
So disparate events, shutdown, violence, military action. How does the report tie these together prophetically?
It frames them as symptoms of Babylon the Great collapsing internally. It connects this directly to Martin's work again, linking the Great Tribulation not just to, say, external war, but to the mood of Lamentations.
Lamentations. Mourning the fall of a great city or nation.
Exactly. Mourning its fall due to its own internal problems, its own moral decay, its self-consumption, not just external attack.
A stark image. So, global deceptive peace, U.S. internal turmoil. Let's bring it back to the Holy Land, the focal point.
Because even with that supposed peace deal, the report highlights acute, specific suffering there, ongoing IDF operations, attacks on Palestinian shepherds, really grim economic polling data.
So intense trouble in the land despite the international agreement.
Precisely. And that, the report argues, lines up with Jeremiah 30.7, the time of Jacob's trouble, a specific period of intense tribulation for Israel.
And this is where the Book of Enoch comes in strongly.
Yes, this is fascinating. The report emphasizes that the type of suffering leaders, paramilitary groups inflicting hardship, targeting vulnerable people like shepherds, resonates directly with Enoch's themes.
Enoch's focus on judging the powerful.
Exactly. 1 Enoch 62, the judgment of the kings and the mighty for their oppression. It's not just saying suffering happens, it's assigning accountability, you see.
So the report suggests these specific acts of injustice happening under the cover of a peace deal are what Enoch warned would trigger a massive reversal of power.
That's the argument. Judgment specifically on leaders who oppress while the world is talking peace.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this for the listener. We have this hypothetical convergence on September 30, 2025, during the days of awe.
A convergence of a deceptive peace covenant a superpower potentially unraveling internally, and very acute, targeted suffering in the Holy Land.
It's a potent mix presented in the report.
It really forces you to think about those divine appointments, the modem. Is history just one chaotic thing after another?
Or, as the report suggests, could the truly critical moments be, well, scheduled, tied to an ancient calendar?
It leaves you with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Are we looking for the next random political crisis? Or should we be paying attention to dates measured by a different, perhaps non-random ancient clock? Something to think about.